Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope all is wonderful and well for you. And thanks for joining me this morning for some fun times, maybe some more twerking, who knows? If you're like, wait, what are you talking about? Go like 2 weekends back and take my class and you'll know. But I'm Seville, for those of you who haven't practiced with me before. And we're just gonna have a good time this morning. I really like to think of these Saturday morning classes as a little reset for the body, the mind, the breath, to kind of get rid of what the week has done to the body, mind, and breath. So we're going to keep things pretty simple and easy. There'll be moments that we can hold things. There's moments that we can move through things. So truly do what feels best for you this morning and just start off your weekend just right. And a side note, when I put together my playlist, it was very beautifully sunny and like 90 plus degrees. So like you'll hear like a lot of like beach vibes and like island vibes happening. It's not so much this morning, at least where I'm at. There's definitely overcast happening. So just imagine as you're listening to it that you have the like island beach vibes, that like getaway that we all are wanting and needing. But we'll start our island vibes on our mats, on our backs. So take a moment to get there. If you need to move your coffee closer to you or tea or whatever, definitely do that. Get started on our backs. And legs can be out long, the knees can be bent, the arms can be alongside the body or resting on the body, or you might get onto your back and realize, no, I really don't want to lay down, or I want to lay on my side or my stomach. Just find a space within the body that allows you to feel grounded. And maybe the eyes are open. And if that's the case, allow the gaze to get just nice and hazy. Or maybe the eyes are closed. And start to tune into the breath. Just noticing the breath moving in and out of the body. And allow this space and this time to be kind of like a little sacred spot for you. That within the four corners of your mat, all of the extra things throughout the week, all of the heavy things, all of the difficult things, those get pushed out just for an hour. They'll be there for you when you're done. But allow the rectangle of your mat or the rectangle of the room that you're in to be a space that's unburdened, in a space that you can find peace, where you can feel grounded and supported. And feel free to stay here if this feels really lovely. Or start to move the legs to the right edge of the mat. The hips will be grounded onto the earth. And maybe you move the top body towards the right edge of the mat. The arms can reach behind you, or you can just bring the hands behind the head, almost as if you're in a hammock. Tune into those island vibes again. We're finding a cute little banana shape in the body. And we'll be breathing deeply along the left side of the body. If you'd like to move a little deeper into this pose, you'll cross the left ankle over the right. Really rooting down through that left hip and the left shoulder. And then as you're ready, we'll come back to the center. Taking a breath here. And let's move the legs over to the left side. And then the top body will also move to the left side of the mat. And if you want to move a little deeper into the pose, you'll cross the right ankle over the left. And recognizing that the hips are definitely different. And so this one, you might try that and it might be a little too much of a sensation for first thing, so you might uncross. We'll come back to the center. And we'll reach long in the body, reaching the hands toward the back of the room, point the toes toward the front of the room. Maybe you find your monstera plant and you give it a couple pats. Just stretching long through one side and the other side of the body, kind of like those first thing in the morning types of stretches. Because hopefully you're able to sleep in, and this is the first thing in the morning for you. And as you feel ready, let's hug the knees in toward the chest, hugging on to shins, knees, or the backs of the thighs. Maybe you rock a little side to side. We'll bring the left foot down on the earth. We'll keep a bend in that left knee. We'll hug the right knee in. Just start to draw little circles with that right knee. Nothing too crazy or big or dramatic. Just a cute little wake up moment for the hip. And we'll hug the right knee in again, and let's press the left foot up toward the sky. Feel free to keep a nice bend in that left knee. Feel free to stay here. Or with your next breath, let's press out through the heel and lower the leg down toward the earth. And next breath, we'll press the foot up toward the sky. So yogi's choice on how much you move the leg. You can move it just a couple inches. You can move it all the way down to the ground and then back up. You do you, whatever feels good in your body. And this next time that the leg comes down onto the earth, down toward the earth, we'll let it rest down. And we'll start to move that right hip a little more side to side. Maybe you start to pass it in between the hands. And if it feels okay, maybe you gently guide that right leg across the body, coming into just a nice, easy supine twist. If you need a little extra support on that right leg, use the left hand to hold it up. We'll come back to the center, hugging the right knee in, followed by the left, and rocking a little side to side. Finding our way back to the center. Left knee hugs in, that right foot plants on the earth, bend in that right knee. And just drawing those little circles with the left knee. Hugging the left knee in, let's press the right foot up toward the sky. Feel free to stay here or begin to follow your breath as you lift and lower the leg. And this next time that the leg comes down toward the earth, we'll let it rest there. And we'll start to pass that left knee in between the hands. And whenever you feel ready, we'll guide the left leg across the body, finding that supine twist. And we'll come back to the center. And let's hug both knees in toward the chest. We're going to come to a comfortable seat. So maybe you begin to rock and roll up and down the spine. Maybe you just find your way to a seat. Whatever works best for you. Legs can be crossed. They can be in that butterfly shape. They can be out. You do you. Let's inhale the hands up toward the sky. Find the length in the spine. And then on your exhale, you're actually just going to fold forward, reaching the hands forward, tucking the chin. Maybe you sway a little side to side and allow the hips to get really heavy down toward the earth. And maybe you pop up onto your fingertips, finding what we like to call cupcake hands. I can't see my cute cupcake hands. They're like this. But we say that because you want to imagine that you have beautiful cupcakes underneath your hands. You don't want to ruin that beautiful frosting. And let's begin to walk the hands toward the legs. Allow the spine to stack on itself, with the head being the last bit to stack. Inhale the hands up to the sky again. And on your exhale, we'll twist toward the right. Left hand is resting on the right knee. Use your breath to feel really broad and open across the collarbones. Inhale the hands up to the sky and twisting to the other side. And inhale the hands up to the sky. We'll bring the hands to the heart and we'll gently tip back, finding a cute, quick boat pose, and then cross the legs, other leg in front. It's typically the weird one. So life's going to feel awkward for a minute. That's okay. Let's inhale the hands back up to the sky and exhale, we'll fold forward again. So again, you want the hips actively driving back down toward the earth. The chin is tucked. You can sway side to side. You can find stillness. You can walk your hands from one side to another. And can you take some really deep breaths? Focus the breath toward the back body, creating some space along the spine, in between the shoulder blades. And we'll walk the hands back to the center. Inhaling the hands up to the sky. One more time, we'll twist toward the right. Stay for a breath. And back to the center. And twisting to the left. Stay for a breath. And back to the center. Let's bring the hands onto the earth. We'll find our way to table pose. Wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And with your next inhale, we'll drop the belly, send the heart forward, coming into cow pose. Exhale, we'll round the spine, tuck the chin, finding our cat pose. So continue to follow your breath here as you flow through these two movements, these two poses. And feel free to move through this at your own speed, whether you're taking it slow or taking it fast to twerk. And let's start to find that happy middle place between cat and cow, where the belly is pulled in like cat, but the heart is reaching forward like cow. So you're finding that strong table back. Imagine that you have, since this is yoga and coffee, you have your cute little coffee table back happening. You have like all sorts of coffee and tea on your back. And like, obviously if it spills, burns and things. So don't get burnt. So you're gonna stay here. So feel free to stay here, sorry. Or you can tuck the toes and keeping your coffee table back, you can start to hover the knees off of the earth. Just like, nothing too crazy, just like an inch or so. And slower than you want to, somebody has safely removed all of the hot beverages. You're going to reach the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Feel free to make this a nice wiggly dog. When I was flowing through this earlier today, I was all sorts of wiggly here. So feel free to come up onto the tippy toes and drop the heels from one side to the other. You can pedal out the legs. And if down dog is not your best friend this morning, you always have table pose to come to. So feel free to always hop down to table. So feel free to stay here or go to table. Or with your next inhale, we're gonna roll forward, finding plank, top of a push-up. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. 2 more times, following your breath. And let's put a nice juicy bend into the knees. Let's look in between the hands. We'll saunter our way forward. You don't have to necessarily saunter. You can tiptoe or get there however you want to. We'll find our forward fold. Feel free to put a nice deep bend in the knees, tucking the chin to release the back of the neck. With your next inhale, fingertips glide up the shins. Let's find our halfway lift. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, we'll rise up and reach up. Oop, almost took out my picture. And hands to the heart. Inhale, let's reach. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's rise up and reach up. And hands to the heart. We're gonna do this 2 more times. We'll add on each time. So let's inhale and reach. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, finding your coffee table back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, as we rise up, we're gonna root through the left foot and we'll bring the right knee toward the chest. Starting out strong with our balance poses. And we'll bring the foot down onto the earth. Hands come through the heart as we forward fold. Inhaling to our halfway lift. Exhale to our fold. Inhale, we're rising and reaching. Oh, just kidding. Let's bring sorry, got so lost in it. We're gonna bring the left knee in toward the chest. balance. It's a thing. And we'll bring the foot down, hands come to the heart, and we'll forward fold. Let's bend the knees, plant the hands so much that the left foot, that we can bend the knees so much that you can plant the hands on the ground. Left foot steps back. There we go. And we'll bring the knee down onto the earth, finding our low lunge. Just staying here for a couple breaths as we get the legs and the feet lined up. And depending on how the knee is feeling, you can stay here, or you can keep that back toe, the back toes tucked. Then with your next breath, you'll start to actively press out through that heel, bringing the knee off of the earth. So we'll flow through that a couple times. So you'll bend the knee, maybe just tapping the ground, and then actively press out through the heel. Keep the heart reaching forward. We'll bend the knee and press out through the heel. And if the knee is on the earth, you can keep it there or bring the knee up, because we'll pull the belly in. We're going to shine the heart forward, and let's start hovering the fingertips off of the earth. And we're going to reach the hands up toward the sky, finding our crescent pose. From crescent, let's reach the hands forward. We're going to take the right hand and sweep it down and back, down and forward. And one more time, down and back. Feel free to stay here, or you can start to reach forward with that left hand, pausing here for a moment. Then we'll bring the left hand down onto the earth as the right hand reaches up toward the sky. If you get here and your body is hating this pose, you can always come right back up. But if you're down here, let's take your top hand and reach it forward, sweep it down, and back up. 2 more times, moving from the shoulder joint. We'll reach the hand up toward the sky. Let's bring the right hand down onto the earth. It does not have to be graceful. We'll make our way back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's roll forward to plank. We'll drop the knees for this first one. We'll shine the heart forward and lower down toward the earth. Elbows are pointing straight back. Tops of the feet plant down onto the earth. And we'll shrug the shoulders up, back, and down, finding our low cobra. We'll bring it down, however it makes sense in your body, back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, again, if this makes sense in the body, left foot could leave the earth. Does not have to be graceful. Let's step that left foot forward. We'll bring the right knee down onto the earth, taking a moment to find a good, solid setup with the feet and the legs, knowing you have the option to stay here. Or you'll tuck the back toe and start to press out through the heel, lifting the knee. 2 more times, following your breath and doing that. And if you're going to rise up to crescent, make sure the knee is off of the earth. We'll pull the belly in, shine the heart forward, hover the fingertips, and we'll reach up to the sky, finding our crescent pose. We'll reach the hands forward, and let's sweep the left hand down and back, down and forward. One more time, down and back. We'll hold it there. You have the option to stay here, or you can start reaching the right hand forward and pause. Then we'll bring the right hand down onto the earth. Left hand reaches up to the sky. This can be done with the knee down as well. Let's start to find those arm rotations, moving from the shoulder joint, creating a little more space and movement within the shoulder. One more time, flowing through this. Left hand reaches up toward the sky, and left hand comes down onto the earth. And let's look forward and step forward, finding our forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll rise up and reach up. And hands come to the heart. Inhale, let's reach and just put a slight bend into the knee. There are no chair poses in this practice. I had some written in there. I'm like, nah, we're good. So slight bend in the knees. I'm going to grab the left hand, the left wrist with the right hand, straighten the legs, and reach up and over, opening up the side body. Slight bend in the knees, grabbing onto the opposite wrist, and reaching up and over. We'll put the bend, slight bend in the knees, and we'll fold forward. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to step the right foot way back. We're going to plant that back foot, finding our warrior one legs. So if it works in the body, keep the hands on the earth as you settle the legs here, feeling really strong and grounded. And then we'll pull the belly in, shine the heart forward, hover the fingertips, and we'll reach forward and up, finding our warrior one. Once you get here, it might be a lot on the back knee, so you can always come up onto those back toes. Things might feel wobbly, so you might have to adjust a little bit more. And on your inhale, pull the belly in, find length in the spine. Then on your exhale, we're going to find those hammock hands and rest the head back into the hands as you press the heart up toward the sky. And if you prefer cactus arms, you can do that. I'm just being real chill today and finding my hammock hands. And then with the assist of the hands, let's stack the shoulders over the hips, reach the hands up to the sky. And we'll start to straighten that front leg with all sorts of intention as you fly the arms back. Heart presses forward. If it works in your shoulders and in your body, you can clasp hands or clasp thumbs to help propel the heart forward. And if it makes sense in the body, maybe you bring the hands down onto the earth. Or if you have a water bottle, a sleeping dog. But no matter where you're at, whether hands are on the ground or flying behind you, let's bend into that front knee. Let's rise back up, warrior one. We'll pop up onto those back toes. We'll bring the hands back down onto the earth. And however it makes sense in the body, let's find our way back to downward facing dog. Feel free to stay here, to come to table, to come to child's pose, to drink coffee, or if you want to keep moving, let's inhale and roll forward to plank, knees up or down. Shine the heart forward as you lower down. And opening the heart to any height that makes sense in your body. So maybe you're at low cobra, maybe you put a little more weight in the hands. And however it makes sense in the body, let's find our way back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, maybe the right foot leaves the earth, and it doesn't have to be graceful as you step the right foot forward. Planting that left foot, keeping the hands on the earth if that makes sense in the body, to find that good, strong, solid foundation here for warrior one. Actively rooting through the feet, pressing out through that back heel. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward, and we're rising up, finding our warrior one. Use your next breath to pull the belly in to lengthen the spine, and then finding your heart opener, whether that's a head hammock, technical term, a head hammock, or cactus arms, or maybe you already have that clasp behind the back. Using the assist of the hands and the core, let's stack the shoulders over the hips, release the hands, fly them back to straighten that front leg. Again, with all sorts of intention, try not to just like pop into that leg, but keep that leg strong and active. Hands can fly back. You can find the clasp, or you can find the earth, or water bottle, or block. But wherever you're at, find your breath. Make sure that the four corners of your mat are still that safe, sacred spot for you, that all the other things aren't creeping back in. And wherever you're at, let's bend into that front knee. Let's rise back up, finding your warrior one. We'll pop up onto those back toes. Hands come to the heart. And let's step forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, we'll reach. Exhale. This time, let's cactus out the arms. Press the heart forward. Inhale, right back up to the sky. And let's exhale through heart center, finding our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands. We're stepping the right foot way back. We're gonna stay up on those right toes. We'll pull the belly in, shine the heart forward as you reach up to the sky, finding your crescent pose. Hands reach forward. We'll take the left hand and sweep it down and back, down and forward. 2 more times, following your breath, focusing the movement from the shoulder joint. And let's open up warrior two with the left foot forward, right foot back. Nice strong legs, finding that good foundation. Inhale, let's straighten that front leg, reach up to the sky. And exhale, warrior two. Let's take the front hand, turn it up toward the sky, and we'll reverse warrior. Come back to the center and over to side angle. We're gonna flow through that. So feel free to just follow your breath. If you wanna keep with that island vibes theme, maybe you're a palm tree swaying in the breeze. Maybe you're like the ocean, ebbing and flowing. All sorts of good imagery. And we'll meet back in warrior two. And let's cartwheel hands down onto the earth, finding your low lunge, but we'll keep the knee up. Feel free to stay there. Or we're gonna we'll keep the right hand where it's at. We'll reach the left hand up toward the sky. Just for a breath. We'll bring the left hand down. Let's straighten that front leg. Hands can stay on the earth, or maybe you find a support. We'll bend back into that front knee. Start to power that back leg, almost as if you are about to step to plank. And that's your foundation leg. But you want to power that leg up because we're going to find what we call standing splits. However, get rid of the splits part. It's just a standing leg lift, really. Staying here for another breath. And right leg meets left, finding your forward fold. Let's hold on to opposite elbows, tuck the chin, and maybe you sway a little side to side. Let's release the arms, inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold. And let's rise up and reach up. And we'll cactus out the arms. Imagine that Jamie is like running next to each one of you, like high fives. You know, that's what she'd be doing if she could. Pull the belly in, stack the shoulders, arms reach up to the sky, find length in the spine and in the body, and let's fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, stepping the left foot way back. Staying up on those back toes, pull the belly in, shine the heart forward, rising up, finding your crescent pose. Breath is strong. We'll reach the hands forward. And let's take the right hand and sweep it down and back, down and forward. 2 more times. Follow your breath, moving from the shoulder joint, finding broadness across the collarbones. And let's open up warrior 2. Right foot forward, left foot back. Find really strong foundational legs, actively rooting through that back leg. Inhale, let's reach up to the sky, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior 2. Front palm turns up toward the sky, and we'll reverse. Press back through warrior 2 and over to side angle. And back. We'll flow through this a couple times. Again, finding your really great island vibes imagery, if you will. One more time, flowing through this. We'll find our way back to warrior 2. Let's bring the hands down onto the earth around that front foot. Left hand stays where it's at. Let's reach the right hand up toward the sky for a breath. And we'll bring the right hand down. If it works in the body, straightening that front leg for a moment. And we'll bend into that front knee. Feel free to stay here. Start to power up that back leg, making it do its own work so you're not just lifting dead weight. That leg is lifting itself. Finding your standing leg lift. You can find a planter to hold on to, a water bottle, that same assistant that you were using earlier. And instead of bringing the left foot to meet the right foot, we're going to just step that left foot back again. And we'll walk the hands alongside the left edge of the mat, finding our way into a wide-legged forward fold. So it's really yogi's choice here on what you want to do in your wide-legged fold. You can keep the hands right below the shoulders and have kind of a halfway lift moment. You can melt down into it. You can walk the hands from one leg to another or bend into the knees. You can walk the hands behind you. Or if you have something else completely different that you want to do, definitely do that. Whatever you're doing with the hands, let's bring the hands right underneath the shoulders, finding that halfway lift moment, finding that long, strong back and spine. We'll bring the right hand right underneath the nose. Let's reach the left hand up toward the sky. Finding that twist. Bring the left hand down and over to the right. And bring it down. Let's walk the hands back toward the front of the mat, pivoting the legs and the feet how you need to. And let's step forward, finding our forward fold. I don't know about you guys, but definitely sweating. It could also be apartment living without AC. So if you have AC, like, just love it. It's a little extra for me. Let's inhale to our halfway lift. Exhale, let's fold. Let's rise up and reach up. And hands come to the heart. We're going to root through the right foot. Let's bring the left knee up toward the chest. So option to keep the toes on the earth, option to hold onto a wall you need, option to skip it all. You're going to reach the hands forward and sweep the left hand down and back, finding that rotation, this time just on one leg. We'll sweep the left hand down and forward. Hands come to the heart, and let's press the left foot back. Hopefully you're not running into your lamppost like I just did. And with all sorts of intention, let's step that left foot down onto the earth, finding our crescent pose. Hands reach up to the sky. Let's bring them down onto the earth. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Option to move through the vinyasa or to do whatever you want for a couple moments. If you're going to keep moving, we'll roll forward to plank, knees up or down as you lower. And your degree of heart opener. We'll press back to down dog. And from down dog, we'll stroll or saunter or tiptoe to the top of the mat. Let's find our halfway lift, our coffee table back. And we'll fold forward. And we'll rise up and reach up. Hands to the heart. Let's root through the left foot as we bring the right knee up. Again, option to keep toes on the ground. Hands can reach forward. And we'll reach the right hand down and back, finding that rotation, that revolve twist on one foot. And we'll take the right hand and sweep it down and forward. Hands come to the heart. And we'll press it back, finding our warrior 3 for a breath. And we'll step back. Ooh, finding our maybe wobbly crescent pose. Hands reach up. We'll bring the hands down onto the earth. Last option and chance to move through a vinyasa. So follow your breath. I'll give you an inside tip. We're going to be meeting in child's pose. So if you want to make your way there right now, perfect. If you want to move through that vinyasa, perfect. But let's find our way to our ever so welcoming friend, child's pose. And allow the arms to get really heavy here. I know for me, a lot of times when I come into child's pose, I still keep my arms active, but allow everything to melt down toward the earth. Allow gravity to win. And maybe you sway a little side to side. Maybe you rock the head side to side, giving your forehead a cute little massage. And if you're loving life here, then I invite you to stay here. Or you can rise up a little bit, walk the hands over to the right edge of the mat, and then sink back down. Finding your child's pose, but with a side opening. Imagining that somebody's grabbing that left hip and actively pulling it back into space. And someone else is actively grabbing that left arm, pulling it a little further forward. Creating all sorts of space along the left side of the body. And if you've moved the hands over to the right side, slowly make your way over to the other side. Recommitting to that deep opening along the side body as the hip pulls back and as the hand reaches forward. And as you're focusing on opening up the side body, also remember to let gravity win, to let the heart sink down toward the earth, to let the arms get heavy down toward the mat. And we'll come back to the center. And as you feel ready, let's just very gently come back up to table pose. Take your time. No big sudden movements. I don't know about you guys, but I probably could have just stayed there and taken a cute little nap. Let's swing the legs out and wind up on our bums. And we'll bring the feet together, knees come apart. We'll just take a couple breaths here in this diamond shape. Your choice on how far, how close the legs are. And one of my favorite ways to practice this pose is to hold on to the shins or the ankles and then actively press the legs down in toward my hands and then gently and slowly release the neck. So for those of us who those of us who are blessed enough to hold all the tension in our neck and shoulders, this one is very dreamy. And so if you're exploring that, just take your time, use your breath as you move through this. And if you're holding onto the legs, let's just gently bring the hands behind the hips, finding our cupcake hands again. And we'll press the heart up toward the sky. When I do this, I like to sway a little side to side, and it's nothing huge. It's just kind of like a teeter totter. It's as if you're sitting on a boat, just letting the waves move the body. Again, the island things, this was not intentional. I guess I just really want to be on an island right now. And we'll bring the hands on either side of the knees and use the strength of the hands to bring the knees together. And let's start to roll down. If you did not get enough core action in your life today, feel free to come up and down as many times as you want to. If you're like, Seville, it is Saturday morning and I don't want to, then let's just bring it on down, nothing fancy. Let's bring the right knee in toward the chest. We'll let the left leg go out long. And let's start to find that side to side passing of the leg. Maybe noticing that the hip maybe is moving a little less stiffly than it was at the beginning of the practice. And when you feel ready, we'll guide the right leg across the body, finding that supine twist again. And if you have been using a block, this is a great pose to put a block underneath the knee. But again, you can hold the leg up with your hand, or you can just let gravity win. And allow that right arm to extend out from the body. So whether that's cactus shape or a T in the arm, then allow the breath to create all sorts of space within the body. I know for me, I've been doing a lot of computer work, so I'm definitely feeling this right along the pecs, right along the muscles that we use to turn inward to use our computers. Let's come back to the center. And we'll hug both knees in toward the chest. We'll hug the left knee in and let the right leg extend out and start to find that sway of the leg side to side. And when you feel ready, guide the leg across the body, find your twist, find your arm placement, and allow yourself to settle in for a couple breaths. As we begin to slow things down, that's when all of the things you pushed off of your mat like to start stepping back onto the mat. So allow yourself this entire hour of being unburdened by all of those things. The best way to push those things away is by coming back to your breath, by following the breath in and out of the body. And we'll come back to the center. Let's hug both knees in again. We're going to have one more hip opener. So your choice on if you want happy baby or if you really liked that diamond shape and you want to lay down and have that diamond shape in the legs. And we all have those days where our mind is just so busy. So even trying to focus on the breath seems like a task in and of itself. So maybe you start to just count the breath, counting in to 4 or 5 and then counting out to 4 or 5. Wherever you're at with that hip opener, let's bring the knees in toward the chest one more time, hugging on tightly. And if it feels okay in the body, let's bring the head and the shoulders off of the earth, bringing the nose toward the knees, finding yourself in a cute little ball. Last time I taught, I called this a hug ball. So you're going to find yourself in your hug ball. You're giving yourself a cute hug. I know that if I could, I'd give each and every one of you a hug. That's my Mr. Rogers moment of the day. But with your next inhale, let's squeeze everything in. Maybe even you scrunch up your toes and your face. And with your exhale, release everything down onto the mat. Once you start settling down onto the mat, maybe you feel that energy still pulsing around in the body, and you can come and do that cute little hug ball squeeze as many times as you need to until you feel like you're at a space that you want to start to chill out for a final resting pose. As you begin to settle here, allow the body to be supported and held up by the earth beneath you. Allow the breath to come to a natural inhale and exhale. And allow the mind to be unburdened. Allow it to be free. Let's begin to deepen the breath. Gently inviting movement back into the hands and the feet. Swaying the head side to side. And as you feel ready, begin to gently press your way up, coming to a comfortable seat. Hands come together at the heart. Thank you for sharing your practice, energy, and spirit this morning. The light within me honors the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. And cheers. It's time to finish up your coffee and pop over to beer. I mean, I'm not going to force you, but it's my plan. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining me this morning. Yes, Karen, you're welcome. Thank you everyone for joining. Portland humans. We have a live class, like in person. We'll be able to look at each other in the eyeballs from 6 feet apart, but that's okay because I'm so excited. We'll be at Level August 15th. So registration goes live today. So we have limited space, 20 people for this first one. So I'm just so excited to see all of you guys. But have a beautiful rest of your weekend and keep it classy.